And we are live and with it. You see, it's just that simple, mate. How we doing, George?
Hey, how you going?
Yeah, great. It's nice to have you here. I've wanted to have you on for quite a while. In terms of like,
I, appre- I
so
appreciate. Thank you for inviting me on, Joe. So what's the topic of today's podcast? I take it it's all about me. No, I'm kidding.
yeah. It's a bit about you and stuff like that. Oh shit. Um, sorry. It seems like I'm getting another call. I'm just gonna quickly.
Who is it?
I don't. Unknown user. I don't know. Just give me a moment. Hold on. Shit. Okay, it's calling again. One moment, George. Just a second. Hello? Is anyone? Where's that music coming from? Who's that? Hello? Is anyone there? Whoa!
Hello.
Is this who I think it is?
I, the manager of champions and the owner of Premier Pro Wrestling, YuriTheBlack.
Oh
Always
my
on
goodness,
Black
guys!
TV.
I've got YuriTheBlack on my podcast.
Videographer, the pleasure's all yours to have me on the podcast. What is going on? I don't know who that other idiot you were talking to was. What is happening? Joe.com.
Oh my goodness! I've always wanted to have a wrestle on my podcast. This music's sick. Oh my god! I got so many questions.
Premier Pro Wrestling owner, Sunshine. Get it right. I'm not a wrestler. I am the owner.
Or the owner.
I run the damn
My
show.
apologies. Kneeling down to the king. I love it. I'm sorry. I'm so excited. I don't know what to do.
Kneeling down to the king, half dying and crawling backstage while the first aid person was freaking out. Am I not right?
Yeah, that was pretty intense and pretty crazy. I think we'll get to that in a moment. But do you have any wrestling coming up?
Yes, I do, champion. Alrighty, on May the 1st at the Sunbury Memorial Hall, that glorious Premier Pro Wrestling venue, we have GCW Gold Class Wrestling versus Premier Pro Wrestling Vendetta. There's already been one match signed for the AIWF National Heavyweight Championship of Australia. We've got the champion Zane Zodiac from that second-rate promotion, Gold Class. We won't worry about them. And then we've got our challenger, our knight in shining armor, our hero, Cletus Blood. He's going to take that championship back home to Premier Pro Wrestling.
Oh my goodness. That is where it's at. You've been in the game for quite a while, haven't you?
You could say that. I was once a wrestler.
Oh, wow.
Once a wrestler.
Yeah, wow. This is so crazy. I think we'll explain our relationship between us a little bit. I did a little videography job for you a little while ago now. That must have been ages, but
slave labor, pre-labor, that was actually quite good.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I have there's a whole YouTube video on my channel about it. Actually, I should announce it right here. Sorry, YuriTheBlack, to steal a bit of your thunder.
So you're gonna steal my thunder? You're gonna have me on the show and disrespect me?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You
come on my show and you feel bad when I want to plug my things. Excuse you for just a minute, all right?
It's all about me, okay? Premier Pro Wrestling versus GCW Vendetta, May the 1st, Sunbury Memorial Hall. Get your tickets. Be there. Look for GCW. Don't look for GCW, but look for PPW or Premier Pro Wrestling. PPW Nation on Instagram. PPW Nation on Twitter. And look for Premier Pro Wrestling on Facebook. Always bet on black, baby.
Hey, that's the catchphrase I was waiting for, baby. What I was going to say was all my podcasts are now going to be on YouTube. They've been on audio platforms alone. I don't have videos yet, but all audio podcasts, including this one, will be on YouTube when this gets released, and I will promote that and whatnot. But anyway, damn,
the
dude.
pleasure's all yours to have me on MrJoe.com.
Oh, that's so nice to hear from you. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, we're at an
Stop sucking
event.
up, sunshine.
Hey,
Stop sucking up, sunshine.
stop sucking up. Oh goodness. Okay, you're telling me how it is. We're at an
Yeah,
event ages and ages and ages ago, like pre-COVID, and it's the Rumble, right? And I'm shooting video for you and
I
all.
don't need to know about that. That was an insignificant problem in my past.
Oh,
By
okay.
the way, who was that goddamn idiot that you had before I took over?
There's some guy called George.
Who's he?
He's
Who's that idiot?
he's a friend of mine. He's short, fat, and a bit smelly. Okay, I think the illusion's gone now.
Yeah, no, I think it is too, right?
In case anyone didn't realize it, George is YuriTheBlack.
I am YuriTheBlack, guys. All right, so definitely support Gold Class Wrestling. Look for GCW on Facebook, AIWF Australia on Facebook. When it comes to Instagram, look for PPW Nation. Look for, I believe it's GCW or GCW brand. As well as that, having mental blanks and everything. As well as that, I've actually got my own podcast with a wrestling podcast with Coco Sports. So it's Dave Coco of Coco Sports and YuriTheBlack Slow Burn podcast. We're available on all major platforms, very much like your very good podcast, Joe.com.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
You can find the Slow Burn on Facebook, kslowburn.podbean.com, iTunes, Spotify, and Google Podcasts.
Oh, very,
And then
very nice.
Twitch.tv/YuriTheBlack.
You're jumping all around my plan. It's really funny, like everything that you're talking about.
And you can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at YuriTheBlack. And then just look for YuriTheBlack. I think it's like Pro Wrestling Manager / Twitch streamer or something on Facebook, man. I'm on most of the socials. Some I'm a bit more active than others, but just got a whole heap of stuff going on right now, so it's been a little bit quieter.
Yeah. Well, you do a lot of things. I think let's go back to the wrestling for a little bit. So, as you mentioned, wrestling manager, what's that in terms of difference to a wrestler itself?
All right, so obviously the wrestler is the one physically taking all the hits and simulating the match, like involved in the match and telling the story, right? So like I tell a story in a different way. So there's a couple of different uses of a manager. Sometimes I might get paired with because I have the ability to speak on a microphone to provoke a reaction. Some people might have the ability to wrestle, but they might not have charisma, for example.
I see.
So
yep.
I'm there to help them get over, and I'm there to help their opponents get over as well. Because me being a bad guy, it might get to a particular point in a match where I'll go ahead and build up and be a little bit like that annoying sort of niggling, and obviously I'll get booed because of it because they really want to see the good guy win, and then it might depends on the situation. It might build up to a point where the more that I do it, and then soon as the good guy finally takes me down or punches me out or something like that, the crowd go nuts. So really, with the way that it kind of works, there's kind of two different types of people in wrestling: the people who can sell tickets and the people who help sell tickets. I fall into people helping sell tickets.
Gotcha.
For helping to get everyone over.
Nice. Yeah. Going back to what we were talking about earlier with the shitty health person, the helper. I forget the name. The nurse, the first aid person that was there. I don't know why that took long. Let's rehash.
I'm not gonna. It was just a bad situation. I'm not one to really badmouth anyone, but it was just an unfortunate situation.
The context is, so I did a videography job for Yuri, and what happened was it was the final match of the night, and it was the Rumble, and there were people coming in. It was in waves, and it was very chaotic. Is that fair to say?
I will admit it was a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's how bad it was. It was a fucking clusterfuck.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was fun, but it was a clusterfuck.
yeah. And what happens is, my whole job that night was to just follow you around with a camera and grab some things and then give you the footage and chop something up myself. And what happened was, you get thrown out of the ring, you tumble down, very good fall, very good performance, and then you crawl behind the curtain. There was like a curtain there, and I'm like, I just followed you the entire time with the camera because it's in character, cool. I'll keep it up. Then once we get behind the curtain, you haven't gotten up yet. And
You need to be fit to be in wrestling, at least cardio wise as well. Asthma doesn't help if you push yourself too hard. And
yeah,
that's what kind of happened to me. I kind of got blown up after taking a double team move that, in essence, I probably should have said no to, considering the people involved, or at least one person involved. And I got winded pretty hard. Like, I'm not turning around faulting them. I'm thankful for the opportunity. It was fun doing it with them and whatever else like that. But yeah, I kind of
anyway,
like the whole
you're in the back and you're crawling on the ground, and I'm like, keep this up. This is good. This is good. And you're like, and stuff like that. And then someone's like, he needs his puffer. And then, like, I forget who it was. The person who gave you your puffer then, potentially saved your life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was like, oh shit, Yuri needs his puffer, Yuri needs his puffer.
Yeah.
So the two unnamed wrestlers, a male and a female wrestler, going, oh shit, where is it? Right next to where I sat next to you, man.
Yeah.
No workers. Ran fucking gave it to me, roll over on my back.
Oh God, it was.
And
I
it's
felt.
like, you're looking at me fucking laughing. It's like, you can kind of stop acting now. I'm like, I'm not fucking acting.
Yeah,
Bro.
yeah. You can give it up now. Yeah. But I'm like, oh my God, I felt so terrible after that. I just had this sick feeling in my stomach.
I just looked at you and shook my head, and I'm like, Joe, what the fuck?
Yeah. God, good times.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. So, how did you get into wrestling in the first place?
How did I get into it? Like apparently, according to my mum and stuff like that, I always liked it when I was little. Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently it's more, I think, from the influence of my actual family, because like back in I think the 60s and 70s or whatever it was always like, apparently, I think on a weekend after lunch or around lunchtime, wrestling used to be on Channel 9. And
Channel 9?
back
Yeah,
in the
wow.
golden days.
Yeah.
So I used to hover around the TV. Everyone had to be quiet when the wrestling was on,
Yeah,
because
wow.
they were like, so that was like the initial thing, right? Years later, apparently I like wrestling, whatever, and I got like, mum bought me like the rubber wrestlers and whatever else like that, and the wrestlers and stuff. And then like my grandfather died in '91. I ended up going to Ukrainian school, and my best friend who I grew up with, who I'm still friends to this day, he really pushed me and got me into like watching wrestling and stuff, and me and him watched it for fucking years, pretty much.
Yeah, wow.
There was a period of time I think I was banned from watching wrestling. I remember that.
Watching it too much, and your roommate's just like, come on, get some fresh air.
Like wrestling the shit out of each other and fucking destroying. But like, the one thing, like, me and my friend always used to wrestle in the backyard. Yeah,
Yeah.
At my house, his house, and his granddad's house.
That's like
Jiju, granddad, right?
Yeah.
Jiju means like grandfather in Ukrainian. Poor Jiju's having a fucking coronary. Like, obviously, lovely old Ukrainian man, yeah?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like 60s, right? Having a fucking coronary at us.
You sneak back towards and hit him with a chair.
You give me a bad heart. I have a bad heart. Stop fighting. You stop fighting. Because I don't think he understood that we were just being mucking around. And that's one thing that, like, I miss Jiju for that sort of stuff. And it's like, we destroyed a number of beds, and Jiju was never happy with us.
Well, yeah. I wanted to add.
But he still popped up obviously.
I have
Like,
I have a similar kind of relationship with wrestling, at least at that point in time, because I've got two brothers. We're all very close in age, and so WWE would come on TV, and we would just wrestle each other around the house, and Mum would be like, "Cut that shit out," wouldn't fucking have it, and so that was kind of the end of it for me. And then years later, for Christmas, I got WWE 2K14, and
oh,
it came in a coffin, like as like it was like a pre-order bonus sort of thing. And
that was the special edition. There was like, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't there like an Undertaker one and like there was another one that was probably like a Stone Cold Steve Austin or a Rock special
yes,
edition or
it was an Undertaker edition, and it had a signed picture of Undertaker on it. And I lost my mind when I saw that. I was like, "Oh my goodness, I've got a signed thing from the Undertaker."
That's awesome.
I love signatures, but I played that game for like 10 fucking minutes, and then I stopped. I can't remember what I was doing or what kept me occupied.
Like this, like because what was it? It used to be the whole what was it? It started as like SmackDown games, and then it was like SmackDown versus Raw, and then it went to WWE, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
remember the, SmackDown 2 Know Your Role. I got it for my birthday. Had my best friend in high school stay over, and we like quite literally stayed up to like fucking midday the next day before I fucking went to bed playing it. And then it's like I quite literally got up, started playing it, and then my mum had to drag me away for dinner. Like,
Yeah.
and then I just went straight back to playing it again. Like, that was the best shit back in the day, man.
Can you remember the first time you went wrestling or you were part of the performance?
Oh yeah, man. I remember I was shitting myself, dude. 'Cause, like you met Mike, the owner of Alpha, yeah? The
think
actual owner of Alpha, where
I
I
think
played on that
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Manson. Mike Manson.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know him. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I crippled more wrestlers than polio. I
I was
fucking love
gonna
that line.
ask who said that.
Manson.
That is
I
the
love
funniest
it.
one. Can you
I,
explain how
I,
that
I reckon I'm gonna,
sorry.
out of respect, I'm gonna ask him, but I'm gonna fucking steal that line because that's like the best line ever. I've crippled more wrestlers than polio.
It's
That's the best.
it's the best
Um,
line. What was the context of
oh,
him saying that? Who was he saying that to initially? And
fuck, who was it? I think he was in a triple threat match. I think it was supposed to be like Captain Alpha versus Mike Manson versus Tass Alexander.
right.
Tass ended up winning that triple threat match to become the final ever Alpha heavyweight champion.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And polio, like it was a whole promo thing, and that was great.
Yeah,
So
nice.
going back to when I first started, so it was like when I was first on the show, it was PCW Slam at least between 2002 to about 2004. I had my first match. Had like obviously Mike Manson in the locker room. My trainers at the time were Jungle Cat, Skyhawk. You guys that you wouldn't know their names.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
I'm
like I
actually
debuted.
assuming most people don't know what the fuck you're talking about with any of these names, but
Oh
keep it
yeah.
going. Your passion is unbelievable.
Oh mate, it's insane. It could be absolutely mental. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how passionate I am about my wrestling. Like, dude, I don't think I've really stopped talking about fucking Saturday night, but we'll discuss that a bit later.
Yeah.
Um, like I'll never forget it. Like, fucking obviously, I was so passionate about my wrestling. Yeah, I do one thing wrong and I go, nah, nah, I can't do it. I quit. I quit. I quit. Rah, rah, rah. I went through the whole stop start bullshit a little bit.
Yeah.
But I still kept going to training. And then it was like I was given the ultimatum. All right, like by Daniel Swagger, who I debuted against. He's like, all right. He goes, bro. He goes, I know you can do it. If you fuck up one thing, don't. He goes, promise me one thing. If you don't crack the shits and walk for fucking one thing up, I'll talk to the promoter and we'll get you and I'll get you your first match on the show against me.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, that lit a fire under my ass. I fucked up. I'm like, all right, cool. Let's fucking do this. And it gave me that confidence boost.
Yeah,
And then
wow.
what happened? That fucking Friday or Saturday night, lo and behold, young Crowley Rose, which was my original wrestling name, got his debut match against Daniel Swagger, who was the PCW Slam champion in a non-title match. He didn't have to, but he fucking put me over.
Wow.
I won my first match.
Oh,
I think I
wow.
only ever won like fucking 2 matches in my entire wrestling career in life. Right? But not that I give a shit, really.
Yeah.
Um,
You found your place as the villain though, which is pretty cool.
Years later, it's like, what was it? I did it. I think I had like fucking 8 months to a year off, and then I think there was another fucking wrestling promotion 1 or 2 years later, and I joined them. I did that. I think one of the last things I did with them, it was basically a face run, a good guy run, and then I did a little bit of bad guy stuff in between, and then they turned me on my very last show. I went full heel with a manager, my mate Baron Valiant, who I still wish was in wrestling. He was so good at getting heat with the crowd. Fucking amazing.
Yeah,
Like I didn't have to do anything. He just had to open his mouth. But at that point in time, I was like, obviously, years later, it's like I've able to live life. I'm one of those people. It's like I love people, but I fucking hate people at the same time. So I've actually learned.
That's me. It's funny how you mentioned the crowds, because I'm not sure if I've told you this yet, but I'm back into stand-up comedy and doing it properly.
You mentioned that we haven't had much of a conversation around that.
Yeah, but
Joel.
it's funny. It's funny that you talk about crowds and stuff like that. I've only done stand-up twice. I bombed the first time and I did well the second time. But one thing, the audience was about the same number. Let's give or take 4 people or something like that. And the key thing was, when you have different energies from crowds, it can really change how you go. And the energy you got from the most recent time, it was so good.
The crowd, you feed off the crowd. It depends on the reaction. It depends on how they perceive you and stuff like that. And it's like, the thing that I like, it's just like I have to either say or do certain things, but it's like, in a way, I think when I play a bad guy, it's not about. So I guess there's a big difference, because you want to know my opening line usually was whenever I jumped on a microphone. For those of you who don't know me, that's already instilled like, oh, who's this guy? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. You've
Last show, I turned around and said, "You all know who I am. My name is YuriTheBlack. I'm the PPW Premier Pro Wrestling owner."
Yeah,
And fucking
the Yuri the Black.
Reaction,
Yuri the Black is
statement.
overly confident. Like, I love it. It's really cool.
Massive, like the way that I look at it, or the way I've kind of described it, and I kind of see it.
Yeah.
You've got me, you've got George, right? Because you know how I am. I'm generally like, I like to fuck around. I like to have fun. I'm generally pretty outgoing. But it's like, compared to Yuri the Black, it's like, as you know, it's like I've got this switch, between my character and myself. Yuri the Black is the biggest bag of fucking dicks on this podcast. You would agree with that, would you?
Yuri the Black's a grade A asshole. Like, it's not that nice.
Yeah, no, it's just like, oh, make sure you do that more. Shut up, you idiots.
I want to ask you something about what you said earlier, but do you remember the moment for me that I realized that we were going to be good friends?
When was that?
So I've mentioned Magic every fucking podcast. We're playing Magic at the old games lab. And you were playing, I forget who we're playing with, but that's not really the point. You were a little bit unwell, and so you were taking some painkillers at the time. And somewhere along just chatting and banter, you mentioned that you were a wrestler. And so I kept on asking questions about wrestling. I was fascinated on the get-go. And eventually what happened was you just kept, we talked about drugs in wrestling, and you're like, oh yeah, some people do it, yada yada, the culture, XYZ.
I'm like, oh, I'm a typical wrestler.
Yeah.
You can shake some drugs, and everybody goes, who wants to be my friend?
Yeah. 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 And so you were having a laugh about that, but then like I don't know, 15 minutes later, you poured out the Panadol to have, And we're like, oh, drugs, all drugs. And then you said, yeah, I'm going to go to the back room, cover it, crush it up, put it on a tea towel and shove it up my ass.
That's a joke. Yeah, that's a joke.
It was the most
It's
random line ever, but it was so funny. It killed everyone on the table, probably the table next to us and behind us as well. The whole store was laughing.
yeah, half the people. What the fuck? Is this guy all right?
Yeah, you got a couple dirty looks. You
Yeah,
said,
well, something about crushing up the Panadol, putting it in a putting it in a paper towel, wetting it, and sticking it up your ass.
it's so crackhead. I love it. What I was going to ask,
This is
you mentioned wrestling trainer. What's a wrestling trainer?
a person who teaches me how to do my art form, like and to do the actual like what we learn in wrestling, like you break falls, move,
Is it
how
close?
to
Is it closer to like a PT, or is it more like a choreographer in on a set or in a musical?
So think of training, like just say if I was to train in a sport, think of it like that.
Okay, it's a sport. Okay.
Wrestling is a sport, but it's also entertainment.
That's the thing that I found really, really fascinating about going to it. It is a show, and these people putting it on, they're planning it. They've got, there's a lot of thought going into it.
Mm. Oh man, it's like I guess the best way I can describe people involved in wrestling, right? Like it's like as you know, you can meet really creative people, really talented people, yeah?
Yep.
As you've seen, and you were and I'm pretty sure that I looked at you a couple of times and you're like, oh fuck, this is like your eyes lit up when you saw certain things when I saw you from doing the recording when I was out at ringside with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Like with my
That 6'7"
you
wrestler Draven from Sweden or whatever is. I think that was him. He was huge, and we're all in the back. This is probably one of my favorite other moments from that night when I went. We're all sitting in the back preparing for the Rumble, and the thing you gotta also people notice. Everyone talks about how behind the scenes our community is super friendly and stuff like that. The wrestlers in the change rooms, they were super nice and chill, and they were planning everything, and it was all the brotherhood that was shared with everyone was super nice.
It is a bit of a brotherhood. It definitely is. Like, obviously, just like every workplace, is always going to be people that you like and don't like. But it's kind of like, at the same time, we kind of do need to protect the business and protect the behind the scenes because it's like, look,
Yeah,
we're kind of like magicians, yeah.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
obviously, every like, I hate using this word. I'm not going to use the F word because I hate that word. And I hate it when people describe wrestling as the first word F, the last part of the word is ache. I hate that
Oh,
word,
okay. Yep.
right?
Yep.
We are a lot like magicians if you think about it, yeah?
Yep.
We
There's an awareness that you're
sell
putting on
you
a
we
show.
sell you the illusion you get we once we get that hook and we drag you in. You get where I'm coming from?
Yes, absolutely.
It's like you get dragged in, you have your suspended belief.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Much
Uh,
any other performer or much like a magician,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we got elements of the business that we also need to protect.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, the moment that I loved, it's just simple. Everyone was singing "I Want It That Way." There's a clip of it
That
on the YouTube video, and it's just super delightful and wholesome, and it's like, oh, this is super cute. But it's funny
it
how
was fun,
like
pretty funny. We had a lot of fun.
how like
The funny
people,
thing was, right,
yeah.
it was probably like all of one or two good guys and all the rest of them were the bad guys singing it, including myself.
No, but that's not the point. It was in terms of like people who are actually assholes behind the scenes and stuff like that.
Not assholes, but I'm saying like in terms of like obviously you got the people who perform their characters are the heels and their characters are the faces. Heels being a bad guy, face being a good guy. But if you noticed in that video, it was most of the bad guys singing it rather than the good guys. I'm not going to name names just to
Yeah.
protect the people. But if you think about it, it's like, really? It's more fun playing a bad guy, in all honesty.
Oh yeah. You're so good at it that you're just totally lost in the character. The only acting I've really done was when I was.
That's because I've learned to hate people over time.
Yeah, I just hate people right now. I'm very present with my hate. So if I see someone I don't like, it's very much like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, exactly, right.
Can I tell you what? I'll
But
tell
it's like,
you two
on the
stories
other
about how
hand,
I almost got in fights with people. Real fights, not wrestling fights, real fights. I was in line at a Subway.
Israel, Joe.
Wrestling is real. Sorry. I almost got into some real wrestles on the street with some strangers. The first one was at Subway, and
Oh,
I
wow.
was at a bad state. This is a very embarrassing story, but I was just waiting in line. It was busy, and it was at the end of semester, so there was a lot of assignments, and there was a lot going on in my mind. Anyway, a guy nonchalantly just cuts in front of me and is standing in front of me, and I'm like, "Hey, you cut in front of me," and he's like, "So what?" And I'm like, "I'll rip out your fucking eyeball. Stand behind me." This guy looked at me and he goes, "Now, just mind you,
Violent,
I'm about
threatening.
6'3", so my height can be. If I get angry and people realize how tall I am, they can get quite intimidated. This guy looked back and was like, "Oh fuck, all right," and stood behind me. I got my sandwich. I left the store and I was like, "What the fuck did I just do? What? Why did I say that to that stranger? That was
Yeah,
so unnecessary."
standing next to Joe, with him being a fucking 21-year-old, 6'3" fucking lanky prick, and me being a fucking short ass 37-year-old average height 5'7". It's fucking quite a sight.
Yeah. The other time was, this is more recently. I was at a bar. I was at Moondog World, actually. I love that place. I want to do a Moondog podcast. I'll explain the concept later. But we're just hanging out, and there's some girls with us, some women, and there was this dude standing behind one of the women that we were with, and he was just weirdly standing there idly. Like, if she's facing the table, he was standing at about 5 o'clock, and he just wouldn't move. And the guy I'm sitting next to goes, "This dude's been standing behind Bella for quite a while." Bella's a placeholder name. And we're like, we should do something about Bella and say something. And right as we were about to say something, he like brushed past her and then walked off. And I was fuming, and I just wanted to hit the dude, but like, I'm glad I didn't.
You gotta protect your female friends that you're out with as well. It's like, friends are practically like family, yeah? It's like, we don't want nothing to happen to them. It's like fucking, it's just like, you don't like creepy cunts fucking creeping up on your friends. All the guys are usually in the group a bit protective of the female thing.
Yeah. A bit of alpha personalities come out like, hey, you over there, fucko, and stuff like that. And
Yeah, fuck no.
no, but that's the thing though as well. I was having a great time. We were laughing. We're having a vibe. It was the women's tennis. Pardon me, little burp. The women's tennis final. Naomi Osaka won. It was great. We're having such fun. But then this guy has to be fucking creepy and weird, and it just totally it worked me up so quickly. I was like,
Oh, it would.
I'm gonna
It would,
fucking
man.
yeah. Damn, what we were talking about earlier.
About the wrestling and shit, and then it's just evolved from there.
Yeah, that's just typically how it goes at this podcast. I gotta learn to be a little bit more free flowing with conversations and let things drag away.
I've been free flowing, man. We've kept on talking. But it's like, that when you and I catch up, obviously outside of this podcast, we'll sit there and talk about just about, hey, what's going on? What's fucking going on with work? Oh, hey, how's your love life going? What the fuck's going on with this girl that you're da 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 da?
Yeah.
And and it's like, most of the time it's like, what the heck are you playing at the moment? Oh,
Yeah.
doing this with that combo and yada 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 yada. But it's like, when we actually have a proper conversation, it fucking flows off into random shit.
Oh yeah,
So, and it's good.
absolutely. But that's kind of like,
But it's like even I get bored of fucking talking about wrestling every 5 fucking minutes, Like I
yeah.
fucking need something else to talk
I
about
have you
too.
on to talk about wrestling, so I hope you don't mind talking about it for a little bit.
Yeah, bro, like it means a lot that you've invited me on like my podcast, like the podcast that I do with Coco Sports, the Slow Burn. Right, like we've probably had like about 5 episodes so far, but we're talking actual like industry related stuff, and it's broad, not just like
I've got
most
my,
of the podcasts out there. They do show reviews, or they might have like the big wrestlers on there, or they have like fucking interview. We talk it like I think our first episode it was like when me and my mate, because my mate Dave Coco,
yeah,
like I think early to mid 2000s in Florida, used to actually book and run wrestling promotions in America,
dang, that's so cool.
where he has his expertise of that. So he's on the booking and promoting side, where I'm a performer. I've got like he's got his idea of how wrestling should be. I've got my idea. And it was like the first episode we talked about what we want or what we like to see in particular wrestlers.
Yeah,
Like
right.
it almost like a do and don't in a pro wrestler, right? But his do and don'ts are pretty much very different to what I want to see or what I don't want to see.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
likes different kind of wrestlers, so like that was just one, and then like we had another episode about what we call kayfabe, so pretty much protecting the
Explain
business, yeah.
kayfabe, actually. Yeah.
Kayfabe. All right. So hang on. Let me actually. It's like I know what kayfabe is. I understand kayfabe, but I'm gonna have to actually get a well-structured sentence to actually explain it properly, so people out there would understand.
Yeah, no worries. If you want to look up, I will explain actually in the meantime, talking about our podcasts
Uh,
and sort of what we want and things like that. I'm still trying to figure out the identity of this podcast.
According to the dictionary,
Yep.
right? Kayfabe, like, obviously, just to give a little bit of backstory, a kayfabe is essentially a term that all the way back from like the carny days when wrestling used to be a carnival attraction,
Yep.
right? Yeah. Right. Kayfabe, noun, informal. In professional wrestling, the fact or convention of presenting staged performances as genuine or authentic.
Yeah, yeah.
So the whole idea is that like back in the day, right?
Yep.
Wrestling used to be recorded as a real sport.
Yeah, right.
That like now everything was predetermined, but it was masterfully covered up and like people actually believed it. And then just over time in the early days, people going, oh, like it's predetermined, all that sort of stuff, or people slip the matches. It's like, um, yeah. So it used to be considered a real sport, and we protected it that much to that point in time, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, but with the way that it works out, because in wrestling, you need heroes, you need villains, you don't have the heroes associating with the villains whatsoever. Unless you got a specific story or a special storyline, no. They
Yep.
hate each other. Keep them away from each other. You do not have them in the same place at the same time, unless that they're in the wrestling ring or doing a performance or being told to do a specific spot on a show, in the venue, etc., etc.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or promote or hype a show against each other.
Yeah, right. That's a very good insight. Thank you. Anyway, I think
Nah, that's all right.
what I
But it's
did.
like there's this whole thing about why is kayfabe dead? When did kayfabe die?
Yeah, it's
So it was just it's like like according to the Google thing, like one of the questions was like, why is kayfabe dead? And I think it was like from one of the websites, like according to popular critical opinion, kayfabe died when Vince McMahon admitted wrestling was a performance to avoid sanctions by various state athletic commissions and was eulogized with the dawn of modern internet to the mid to late 90s. See, it's
right.
just that comes down to the evolution of wrestling and the way that everything kind of changed. Because in America, you actually go to certain states, like pro wrestling that I do, the performance. I know that if
Huge
you
in
go to
Texas
Georgia,
and Georgia. Yeah.
more so Georgia, right?
Yep.
You have to actually physically apply for a wrestler's license.
Yeah, right.
You're actually governed by the sporting body.
Jesus. Okay. That's kind of.
Certain places you have to have a wrestling license, otherwise you cannot perform.
Yeah, right. That's. Is it a long process to get a wrestling license?
I don't know. Many years ago, I was talking to a promotion in Georgia about when I was looking at coming to America, and then that all fell through. But yeah, like apparently, like there's a couple of states where you have to quite literally get a wrestling license in order to perform.
Yeah. Wow. That's very. Huh. Funny how that works.
Oh yeah,
But then
man.
again, it's like in America as well. There's, I think, the SAG, the actors thing, and you have to be registered to be able to become an actor. And there's definitely rules about Broadway. And then again, there's different conventions for London and Australia or wherever you're performing. Like, you need different things and stuff like that. And it's interesting how formalized it's become. You don't necessarily see wrestling as a particularly formal event, or it's not thought of particularly formally or contemporary or anything like that, but clearly there are a lot of formalities involved in it.
Oh, yeah, it's like kayfabe is essentially protecting backstage secrets, and like, but it's like the funny thing is people might shit on wrestling because it's predetermined, and I'm not like I said, I hate using that F word,
Yep.
right? But the thing is that if you
Ache.
really think about it, wrestling is actually a lot more real than a lot of people give it credit for. Yeah, we do stuff to protect each other. Yeah,
you
it's a
you
bit of
take
a
hits in a
performance.
certain way, you fall in a certain way, but when people get
But
hurt, they're getting hurt.
we we get hurt for real, and everything that we do still hurts. Like if I get picked up and thrown down, I'm going to feel it the next day.
Yeah.
Pro days, I'm sure you're aware, or even when you're um like performing on a football field, right? Because that's a performance in itself, even though that it, like for some people, it's an actual job. You get where I'm coming from,
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Because they go ahead and do the training and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
Dusty
They're having a
Martin.
great
Dusty
time.
Martin has to be Dusty Martin every time he walks into the G or anywhere else. Like, he is putting on a performance. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what I was actually going to say earlier, this is slightly off topic, but it's important to what I was going to say earlier when we're talking about podcast identity and just my podcast quickly. I am still trying to work out what exactly this is. I've had a musician on, an actor on, now you. Upcoming, I don't want to give away who I've got coming on, but I've got some interesting people coming on, and they're not necessarily entertainers per se, and it's very exciting. I think I've got the next 3 weeks booked for guests, which
That's
super,
awesome, dude.
yeah, it's super cool. And I don't know if I want to do sound effects and little openers like what we did earlier. But that was fun, by the way. I think,
That's all fun, man. That's all fun.
yeah. I do have a couple other sound effects. Tell me if you recognize this one.
See Nick Joe.
Do you know that
What
one?
was that?
See Nick Joe.
Play it again.
I'll play it
No,
loud.
don't know it.
See Nick Joe.
That's his name is Scott Steiner, and there's a great video where he's like, all men aren't created equal, and if you put me in a 3-way match, Small Joe, no, we don't got any chance.
33 and a
You take your 33 and a third chance, and you take that 25.
And you got
8.
6 and 3/4 chance of winning. Yeah.
And you get
That
mine.
was the best promo.
Yeah. And he goes,
And it was
Senior
just
Joe,
like, if you think
the
about it,
numbers
it
don't
wasn't
lie,
just
and they spell
before
disaster
it.
for you. That's sacrifice.
But if you think about it, right, and the thing that I love about wrestling too, yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes the shitter it is, the better it gets.
Yep.
And that was a good example of something that was just utter shit.
Yeah.
But it's one of the most legendary, memorable promos ever.
Yep. That's very good. The other sound effect that I've got.
3 and 3 got a chance of winning. They got 66 and no chance of winning.
I got a 141 and 2/3 chance of winning, which is a certainty. Fucking idiot. Anyway, here's the other one. Tell me if you recognize this. Tell me if you can guess the voice. I'll be impressed.
The very famous K. Rudd Memorial Between the Legs Melbourne dog shot.
Shall I play it again?
It's not bloody Kevin Rudd.
The very famous K. Rudd Memorial Between the Legs Melbourne dog shot.
That is Kevin Rudd, former Australian Prime Minister. 2 out of the 5 Prime Ministers we had in 5 years.
Don't get me started. Like, I hate politics, but
You know, we're not going to talk about politics, don't worry. This is
our politics are shambles, but it's not as bad as fucking the United States if you think about it.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing I just want to say is, so I'm not sure if you know about this meme, but there's videos of Kevin Rudd playing handball or downball or foursquare. There's a lot of different names for it. Do you know what I'm talking about? That game you played in high school.
Yeah.
So there's a video of him playing it in, I think, Trinity.
I foursquare in primary school, mate. That was like, oh, hey, you want to play foursquare? What was it? King, Queen, Jack, and Dunce?
Yeah, exactly. I had that. Here's what we did though. Instead of doing it in a square, we had it in a straight line, and it really made the play quite dynamic and interesting. Like,
oh wow, we had the like the force, like the actual foursquare.
yeah.
Because that's what was painted on the tarmac outside on the playground.
Oh, you had it painted. We just had to use grooves in the tiling and stuff like that, you know. We were very ghetto with our...
And that's what we did if we didn't have the like the paint outlines.
Yeah. And if a kid like swore near a teacher, suddenly the teacher would ban playing a foursquare in that area.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was the school I went to anyway. Anyway, Kevin Rudd, he played downball. I think it was at Trinity, which is one of those like premium schools in Melbourne. And over COVID, he released a video about how to do various shots, including the
very famous K. Rudd Memorial Between the Legs Melbourne dog shot.
Yeah. And I just find that line really funny. And he did a whole video about...
Very convoluted line.
Sorry?
It's a very convoluted line that he said too.
Yeah,
the very famous K. Rudd Memorial Between the Legs Melbourne dog shot.
The very famous K. Rudd Memorial Between the Legs Melbourne dog shot. It doesn't make any sense. His descriptors are way out of order. Like, but yeah, he made a whole video about downball, and it was pretty funny. But it's weird to see an Australian ex-prime minister make a fucking YouTube video about downball.
That's just weird. He's probably got nothing to do in his spare time since he's not in power.
Yeah, his 250,000 pension, his private driver, his beard.
He can give me some of that money if he wants. Like, fuck.
I think another thing about you that people should also know, you're a streamer.
Yeah, I haven't actually done it recently just due to some personal stuff that's been going on, but yeah, I am a streamer.
What's that
I'm
like?
guessing you can call me a variety streamer. Like, I had you on my stream and shit like that, and we were talking shit and being funny, and I had another friend fucking be a smart ass and going, oh, you're all right, Joe. George's an idiot.
Yeah.
Well, that's it's constantly freaking like hammering me. I'm like, assholes.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What got you into streaming?
Sorry, what was that?
What got you into streaming?
COVID, man. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna like, because I started watching like a buddy of mine that I've known for like I think close to 20 years when I first played WWE Raw Deal, one of the first card games that I played. Like Magic was the first.
Yeah.
But I wasn't playing it at that point in time.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up going into his channel and stuff, and then I think he ended up actually getting me into watching Marty the Moth Martinez, who was a former Lucha Underground champion, and I know Marty now. I fucking love Marty. I'm looking forward to hopefully working with him one day.
Nice.
Fucking really, really gifted wrestler, really good guy. And yeah, I'm like, after a while, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Oh, what? I've this Twitch gimmick on my Xbox. I think I'll start streaming the games that I'm gonna play. Yay!
Yeah, nice.
Like just yeah, and that kind of kicked me off. It was just like off the Xbox, but it's like I had no headset, I had no cam, and it was just that's how I started. Yeah, so I played like Warhammer 40k Inquisitor, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. They were my main games that I played a bit of NHL 20.
Yeah, right.
Then obviously it evolved. I go, oh look, I got a headset. Then after time, it's like, oh look, I've all of a sudden got money. I'm gonna spend like almost $3,000 on a computer setup.
I know, that's what I've
So
done. I spent that much on a computer, 600 on a monitor, and then like 800
like,
on
you
my
wanna know
soundboard.
something
Like,
awful? One of my co-workers is giving me two 1080p monitors for nothing very soon.
really? Can I have one?
Dude, I'm like, dude, I can probably actually get you one as well.
No fucking way. I need a third monitor makes me complete.
Because it's like I think apparently she's got so many like spare ones just lying around. It's like I've got a old monitor that I got off a friend,
Yep.
and then I've got one that I paid like I think close to $300. It's like one of those. It's one of those arced screens. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
get
the
where I'm coming
curved.
from.
Yeah, yeah.
The curved screens.
I've got a
Beautiful
4K monitor.
curved with a Samsung.
Yeah,
Well,
nice.
mine's not 4K, but it's really, really good. Then I got like this old BenQ, but like the dual monitors are like, dude, it's like I ended up getting what was it? I ended up buying the like over time. I ended up buying the PC. I got the Elgato capture card. I got the Nari Razer Ultimate headset. I've got the Blue Yeti mic, the Logitech C922 Pro streaming webcam, two fucking monitors. I ended up like spending almost close to $300 or $400 on an Elgato keylight or however much it was at the time. I've ended up purchasing a Stream Deck, which I can program it and press like to seamlessly transition from streams, have videos play on my stream, have sounds play, have images pop up and disappear.
That was the thing
start,
with the soundboard I bought. Like, I knew if I wanted to do a podcast, I needed a soundboard, and that's how I've been doing the sound effects and stuff like that, and putting you on and whatnot.
Oh yeah. And it's like the great thing is about the Stream Deck, which is basically a soundboard, you can program it to do just about anything you need to do it. Doesn't
Wow.
have to be used for streaming. Like
That's so
that's how
awesome.
good it is. Yeah.
What's
And then it's like, what was it? I forked out like $700 to get a Secret Lab Dark Knight chair. So I got like the Secret Lab Batman chair.
nice?
And it's a sexy chair.
I just got like, the reason I have my chair is my older brother, for his birthday, we got him a new chair, and then we have like wooden floors. And so I added a link afterwards. I had a chair that was good. And so I sent Dad a message with these two. He was going to get the chairs through Officeworks and through his work so he could get tax deducted, etc. There's like little mats that you put on the ground that protects your floor that you have your chair on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I said, and two of these with the link next to it. Instead, my dad got two brand new chairs, and it's like, well, fuck. And so then I got a new chair out of it. Yippee!
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That is so good.
It's just an office chair. It's nothing like extravagant. It's not a gamer's chair. I don't need a gamer's chair. But like,
dude, really, if you think about it, buying an ergonomic chair is actually a lot better than buying a gaming chair.
oh yeah. This is super comfy. What games are you currently playing?
At the moment, like seriously, I'm actually quite boring. I've got I play Star Wars: The Old Republic on PC and Star Trek Online, so it's a bit nerdy by a lot of people's standards.
Well, here's my standards. I just play Peggle at the moment. That's the
I
only.
like that game. I haven't played it in forever though.
Okay, the reason I'm playing it though is I'm trying to get 100% in all of the levels, like clearing all the pegs. It's harder than it sounds, and I've only got 2 levels left to go. It's giving me conniption fits.
Where did you buy it? Did you buy it or is it
I
free?
bought it
Or
on
what's the deal?
I bought it on Steam because there's achievements, and so I can show you on my Steam account. Um,
Oh,
Here I
awesome.
got the
Yeah,
100%.
I don't know. There for a while, I went back and played like Command and Conquer, Command and Conquer 3, Command and Conquer Red Alert 2, Command and Conquer Red Alert 3, all that shit. I love my Command and Conquer games, which I pull out and play every once in a while.
Yeah,
I
right.
played Borderlands 2 for a little bit.
Borderlands 2 is so good. Oh my god, I
Borderlands
love it.
2, sorry. I played Dead by Daylight pretty hardcore for a while, but then it got to a point where it got so toxic. I'm like, I'm not fucking playing this shit again because I got to a point where I just ended up cracking the shits because just tunneling fucks. I just hated dealing with people that just constantly hard targeted me, etc., etc. All that sort of shit, and I'm just like, fucking, I got over it,
Yeah, right.
and I started actually getting all right and getting out of like certain ranks and stuff like that. But I can like I've got all the expansions I think except for the newest one, but it's like I can't bring myself to go back and download and play it again
Yeah, right. I haven't
because
had
it's
any. Yeah, one thing I wanted to also talk to you about. You love posting about your working out and your exercising, and I've
just
recently.
because my in recent times just because of like look I'm gonna fucking be honest there. I'm just like most people out there. I suffer from some kind of mental health issue.
Yep.
Depression, ADHD, and anxiety. So I got depressive anxiety disorder. So I'm on new meds. And that just totally fucking killed my motivation to go to the gym.
Yeah,
It's killed it.
earlier this year I experienced a couple hardships. I'll get into them at a different time, I think. But
Yeah, respect.
I just totally lost motivation to just do a lot of things. I've never been on any meds or anything like that, but I weighed myself just randomly recently, and I found that I was the heaviest that I wanted to be. Um,
Oh,
Now
really?
this is gonna sound like a little bit pricky and privileged and whatnot. I was weighing in at like 94.5 kilos, and that to me was alarming. Now, there's people who, which are, in terms of pounds, that's something like 208 or 210, 212, something like that. So,
Mhm.
um, that to me was a wake up call. And I'm like, okay, I've got to really like step shit up and get back into it. And so, my main thing now is cardio. I ride the exercise bike for half an hour every day. I just go on my phone, I watch YouTube, and ride the bike. Um, I feel better during the day.
For cardio, I like the treadmill.
I
But
can't run. I don't have any legs. I just can't run.
I don't run. I just walk or power walk or walk a bit faster. And then it's like with that, I like very much like yourself. YouTube, Twitch, might have Netflix on my phone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Right, but it's
the
not
time just flies by.
my favorite workouts are anything where I work like my arms or like my arms, shoulders, maybe a little bit of the back that sort of connects up to the shoulders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I
Look.
just I like that, and it's like
Yeah. Oh,
it's just yeah. I just like the way that with the way that my arms and stuff like the toning at least of my shoulders and different stuff kind of look and stuff like because it looked good and I felt like it made me feel really confident.
yeah. I still feel like I look fat. So I've lost 2 kilos. So and I wanted to lose 6. So I'm a third of the way there for my weight goal. But the first two
That
kilo,
shit.
yeah, I'm pretty happy with myself. The first 2 kilos are the easiest two to lose. The other thing I'm doing is for this week, I've cut carbs. I fucking want carbs so badly. The best food has carbs in it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No
Avoid
bread,
pasta.
no rice, no pasta, no chips. I fucking love hot chips. I'm crazy for hot chips.
Crazy chips.
So yeah, I wake up, as soon as I wake up, I'm on the bike. I like the thing about me and exercising as well is I don't necessarily like exercising per se. I like feeling good afterwards, and I like the motivation that I'm feeling and just food tastes better, I sleep better. All those better feelings that come later are good. Getting on the bike and waking up fucking sucks. It's terrible. And that was when I was lifting weights and doing a lot of heavy training. It was the exact same thing, but the feeling for the rest of the day is just immeasurably better than doing nothing. So it's
like,
worth it.
The thing that I like, right, because like obviously I recently with my mental health, or just I'm not going to go into it on the podcast,
Yeah.
but you know what I like our private discussions. You know where
Yeah,
my
yeah,
head
yeah.
was at now
Yeah.
that I was quite a while. Now, obviously, everything's different. New job, fucking wrestling's back. I'm
Things are
fucking
on
on
the
new.
upswing for you.
Yeah. I'm like fucking, as you can tell, I'm fucking feeling quite good. Like there was like during that period, it was like I was generally all right, but I might be fucking my depression or anxiety would kick in, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go to the gym. Fucking go to the gym. By the end of it, I'm like, fuck yeah, come home, but it's like fucking like but the problem is like obviously with the mental health, sometimes it can fucking take ages for you to get to sleep because your mind's constantly racing,
Oh,
thinking
yeah,
about shit.
yeah. I feel like I just need
Fucking
sleeping meds just to get through because
ah,
the thoughts just
because
keep on fucking
it makes
coming.
you
Like,
feel good. It's sometimes it obviously makes you feel tired and you can generally get to sleep a bit easier, which is not too bad. But that was at a period where, like, when I was going through my bad thing, I wasn't even on meds.
yeah, right.
And for the people out there that are suffering, yeah,
Oh,
hang in there.
please communicate and hang in there. Like,
Yes,
work through it.
yeah, push through it. Trust me, you'll do yourself a favor by going to see a GP, get yourself on a mental health plan, get yourself on the right meds, see a counselor, a psychologist, talk to someone if you have to.
Just
Trust,
uh,
even if it's
a
talking to
friend, a
someone,
family member, a teacher, whatever it is.
yeah, right.
Because it will eat you. Like, inside. It will just tear you apart.
I almost think that I probably almost would have if I didn't have like the friends that I had, right, and like the girl that I'm interested in that I told you about, yeah,
Yeah.
the one that's like interstate.
Yeah.
I probably either wouldn't be here or I'd be a lot worse off, and I probably wouldn't have been in my new job at this point in time.
Yeah, you're ball and chain.
She's not smart ass. I'm hoping that one day, but
Yeah. Hey, well, what's next for you? What's
you
coming
might-
apart from the wrestling? What's coming up for you?
sorry, what was that?
Apart from the wrestling, what's coming up for you?
Mate, just work.
Oh, you're
Pretty
just
much.
working. When are you going to start
Just-
streaming again?
I honestly don't know because I've got zero motivation to stream because I had a little bit of an issue. I think, like, obviously, I had that initial issue happen, and then around that time, something else happened and people pissed me off, and I'm just like, I've got zero motivation to stream. It's not totally their fault, but it's like I'm kind of like, nah, I probably need to have time off. But
Do you
I'm like
reckon
quite
do you
literally
want to get back into streaming?
not anytime soon, in all honesty. But the funny thing is, I recently joined a stream team as well. Yeah.
Yep.
And then I think the main member or one of the members actually managed to, I think, achieve, I'm pretty sure, partner. And then, yeah, I got the official invite to the stream team. So it was like, there are stream teams out there that aren't, like, they are stream teams, but they're not official, like, you jump on Facebook, it's like team whatever. So I am actually a part of one of those now.
Yeah, wow. Exciting.
So shout out to Team
More
Nightwatch.
shout outs.
Amazing.
Do you know what?
Absolutely amazing.
Whilst we're at this, I think we're coming to the end of the show today. Just remind everyone where they can find you, and the maybe Yuri can come back for a quick little moment and talk about the wrestling again.
Oh, dude, I would love to. Guys, all right, if you want to hear my podcast specifically, go to ksslowburn.podbean.com. It can be found on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. All right, so you can go ahead and find me on Twitter and Instagram at YuriTheBlack. Oh, sorry, at YuriTheBlack. And then on Facebook, search for YuriTheBlack. It'll be like YuriTheBlack Pro Wrestling Manager / Twitch streamer or Twitch affiliate, something along those lines. Smash a like and a follow. I love hearing from people. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Like, as well as that, I can't recommend enough, guys. Look for GCW on Facebook, AIWF Australia, and Premier Pro Wrestling or PPW. Smash likes there at GCW brand, at PPW Nation on Insta.
Okay, a lot of shout outs. You've been going for like a minute and a half. Just when is the next wrestling event that you're going to be part of? What's the date?
All right, it's going to be GCW versus PPW Vendetta at the Sunbury Memorial Hall on the 1st of May, guys. Come down, check it out. At the moment, there's only been one match advertised, and that is for the AIWF Australian Championship, which the champion Zane Zodiac, who's a GCW wrestler, will wrestle a PPW wrestler by the name of Cletus Blood. You'll see me, you'll see those guys, and you'll see a number of others on the show.
Very exciting.
Be a great night.
Looking forward to it.
Oh, very exciting, man.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap it up. This has been .com.podcast, whatever it's called. That was such a terrible gag, but I'm proud of myself nonetheless. Dude, it's been real. Well, I'll have you back at some point. I'm a bit booked out.
Thank you for having me on the podcast. I appreciate it. I mean, like, my actual character would say the pleasure's all yours for having me.
Yeah.
Right? But me as George, the pleasure's mine. Thank you for having me on the show.
No worries. All right. See you around, everyone. Bye-bye.